got this architecture diagram, this network diagram, this data flow diagram, and I go, where are the threats? If you were a bad guy, where would you attack? And it's actually fun to write these as a software developer, these threat models, because you can just draw a diagram and put a circle around the middle and say, okay, this zone, how would I get in from all these other places? And then the next zone out, how do I get in from all these places? And then the next zone. You kind of draw these surface areas and say, okay, this is a surface that if you got in, you could get my private data. What are the ways that we think you can get in? What are the controls now that we need to put in to address those? So your threat model diagram should produce, here are all my weak spots. If the Star Wars did a threat model diagram, they might have, plugged the hole that let the bad guys, well, I guess good guys, depending on which side you're on, and let the other team get into your Death Star and blow it up. There's a threat there that they did not have documented. I might push the Star Wars analogy a little too far, but there's a great book about threat modeling that models Star Wars as an example by Adam Shostak. It's a great book. And so, you draw that out. So you got your data, your networking, your security infrastructure, your configuration details. These are where the configurations live. These are where the secrets are stored. Here's how we rotate the secrets, the credentials to your systems. All of that shows the lay of the land of where everything is. And if it's detailed and thorough, then you give a SOC 2 auditor or a GDPR auditor confidence that you know where all the things are and how to secure them, how to keep them scalable, how to keep them running. And so without those, we're going from memory. I built this thing over the last decade and never drew a diagram. How am I going to just say, I know where all the attack points are? No, you got to do that as you go. So I would like to say, if you're starting a new SaaS, start day one with this stuff. If your network diagram is just one box with one arrow out to the internet, fine, draw it that way. When you add the second box, add it to the diagram. And so that's one practice. The other practice I would say is now kind of more into policy documentations. And these often get pushed out to the IT or the compliance department, but you're going to want to show, your information security policies. Do you require strong passwords for everybody that logs into your Okta? Do you have access control policies that give people granular roles and need to know access to things that include customer data? That's what they're really going to look at is, you take my credit card and social security number in your SaaS and store it somewhere. I want to know that it's encrypted. I want to know that it's that you've got good practices around how you encrypt it and when you rotate the encryption keys and who has access to the encryption keys and who has access to it in the encrypted form. And if I need to give a developer access to that sensitive data to debug a real problem, do I forget and they just leave him with access forever? Or do we have an automated policy to remove his access after he doesn't need it anymore? Change management procedures. Software guys, we get into Git and source control, and we talk about pull requests and branches and peer reviews and code reviews. That's all great. What about at the architecture level? Are you putting your infrastructure build out in Terraform and checking that code into a repository that's using your same software code change management procedures for your infrastructure change management procedures? That's what we do with Bulwark. We use Pulumi for IAC, which allows us to automate the creation and change of everything through Git. So everything's traceable. We require signed GPG, cryptographically signed code change with a secondary approver. So no code that touches customer data should be changed by one person unilaterally with no traceability. We don't want to just say, I accidentally hired a sleeper agent from Russia and he worked just fine for 2 years and then one day he just went into the system and changed something without us noticing. Well, that should not be possible because you have these change management policies and procedures, and those do affect developers. So in Bulwark, we try to put these things into a way that is very developer friendly. If you do it early on, and this is kind of my soapbox, we all hate being told how to do our jobs. But if you set up the guardrails at the beginning and you adjust to it as you go, then you can remove roadblocks, you can put in guardrails, you can make it so that the daily job, doing the right thing is the easy thing. If you try to bolt that on afterwards, you're gonna have a revolt. It's just not gonna work.